Hey everybody, this is Deb, and this is going to be a little bit of a different video today. What we're going to do is make FrankenPaper, and I'm going to do it kind of like a process video, which I don't do very often. Typically, I show you what it looks like finished, and and then let you guys go and do your own thing. But I'm going to kind of do a little bit of a process video. So if you go out onto YouTube and look, there's lots of different ideas on how you make FrankenPaper. So this is not the only way you can do it. There's lots of different ways. So I'm just going to show you how I did this one. So this is actually a file folder. I don't recommend that you use anything this big because it is tough to sew a big piece of stiff paper like this. It's hard to maneuver it in your sewing machine. So I found that out the hard way, obviously. So I don't recommend that. I used a file folder because I thought that it would be, since it's so sturdy, that it would make great a cover for a journal. You know, I could cut it down. You could cut this into tags, all kinds of things. They use FrankenPaper for all kinds of things. So, but when you have small scraps of paper that you hate to throw away because you love the paper, I mean, this is a good way to utilize those small scraps of paper. So anyway, the way I do it, now not everybody does this, but the way I did it, I used a glue stick, and I glued every one of these pieces down. Then I let it dry really good before I sewed around all the pieces. Now, you don't have to sew around the pieces if you don't want to. You don't have to glue the whole thing. You could just put a bead of glue in the center, you know, if you're going to sew around it. So, like I said, there's all kinds of ways that this can be done. So, I really like this paper. It was a paper pack. Oh gosh, I don't know where I got this, but it's single-sided, and it's just lightweight like this. And then that way, if you're putting it on a heavy piece of paper like this, then it's not ultra heavy. So that's this file folder. So what I am going to show you how to do is, I mean, you do not need to be shown how to do this for sure, but, you know, I thought, well, I'll kind of show you my process on how I do this, or how I did it. So I like to use a, let me get one, a base. And in this case, I used this, it's very soft. It's a very soft paper. It's beautiful to write on. And it's 12 by whatever this is. I got it off Amazon. Looks like it is 9. It's 12 by 9. And again, you know, it's thin enough that you can utilize this thin paper, and then it's going to make this a more sturdy, a more robust page. Probably still wouldn't want to use this as a cover, as a journal cover, but it would make great pages within the journal. So if you used a music sheet, that would be great. because then on the other side of your FrankenPaper, you would have music sheet, or you could use book page. So then, even though this is single-sided, it then becomes double-sided because of the background that you have chosen. So you could use a bigger piece of the same type of, well, this isn't a big piece, but you could use a bigger piece of a coordinating paper and put it on the back, and then put your FrankenPaper on top of it, you know, build it on top of that. So there's a lot of different things that you can do. And so again, I'm just going to show you my process. And what's going to happen is then, once you make your FrankenPaper, then we're going to do a project with it. So we won't do that project in this video. I'll show you the process on how I make the FrankenPaper, except for the sewing. You don't need, you are going to obviously know how to do the sewing. Well, and this part too. But so then my next video will be the weekly challenge, and we will be able to use our FrankenPaper with that challenge, or any paper that you choose. So basically what we have going here is lots of different scripts and scraps of paper. Now what I do is I sort my paper, my scrap paper, and so then I'll have, you know, bigger pieces, medium-sized pieces, smaller pieces, and then I also have like topper pieces, or what I would call a topper piece, of different things that would be cool to have on top of that, to kind of accentuate the page. So now if you use something like this, you're going to run into the possibility that it's not going to be placed in an optimum place for cutting it into a tag or using it in a journal cover or whatever. So keep that in mind. Okay, so I've kind of got a layout here. Now, I'm okay with straight edges like this at the straight edge. I don't want straight edges in the inside. So I'll be tearing those down. Another thing, and that's the way I did it with the file folder. You can, if you're, you know, these are kind of neat and tidy scraps, but if you had some scraps that were, you know, just really rough, torn or whatever, you don't have to place them in the corner like this. Let me scoot this down so you can see what I'm talking about. You don't have to place it in the corner like that. You could go ahead and go past your base and then trim it off when you're all done with it. So in this case, like I said, I'm okay with the edges being straight. I don't want straight edges on the inside, so I'm going to tear those down. So I'm going to get started and hope I can remember how I put all these things down. And I am not going to sew this on camera. You know, it's going to be like watching paint dry. So I'm not going to do that. And I'm also not going to glue all the way to the edge like I did with the the file folder. See, is that edge? Yeah, that edge is going to be covered up, so it doesn't matter. So on some of these, I used a tear ruler. And that gives a nice edge. Okay, so now this edge, if you tear it down like this, it's not going to leave a white edge here. It's going to leave a white edge there, if that matters to you. If you tear it the other way, then it's going to leave a white edge here. I know a lot of times folks will, crafters will ink their edges so that you don't see that white edge. And I do ink sometimes, but I don't ink everything. There are those crafters, those journal makers who ink absolutely everything. Every script, every scrap. I do not. And I don't always use vintage photo. In fact, I never use vintage photo. I use a different distress oxide. I use gathered twigs. Vintage photo kind of has a pink cast to it. Let's put this one down first. And the gathered twigs has more of a green, brown, rather than the pink. So, and I can't say I never use vintage photo, but rarely do I use vintage photo. And a lot of times I don't even use, I'll use a color, like maybe a green or something that accentuates nicely. Okay, hope I can remember all this and how I put it down. Chances are very slim that I will, but that is not a problem. So we'll make it work. So the weather here has been beautiful. It's cloudy and chilly here today, but I mean, it is still winter. So, but our trees are pretty and our flowers are blooming. It feels like spring. I like spring. So I think I had that there. And I had this one here, if I'm not mistaken. So another thing that you could do is have, instead of having little squares and rectangles and triangles and, you know, and all this kind of stuff, you could have big, you know, blobby, continent-shaped, which, did I have any of that in the other one? No, I didn't. I really didn't. So, but continent-shaped pieces would be kind of nifty. So this is one of those that I tore with a tear ruler. And that looks okay. I love this paper. Paper is so gorgeous. Again, it's a paper pack. Theodosia Square. Oh, it's just got gorgeous paper in there. So you could go crazy over paper just like you go crazy over fabric. So now one of the things that I pulled out was this. This was from a printable that I have that, and of course this looks like a book cover. And these are some of the elements that went with that. Emma would be the name of the book. Emma, whatever her name is, I forget. You know who I'm talking about. And I thought that would look kind of cool on here. It's kind of got the same coloring, and I really like this type this type would be kind of cool on there. I thought I had a smaller piece of type. But, of course, I don't see that right here. Because you know, oh, here it is. Because you know what's going to happen, right? As soon as I cut that other one down, then I'll find it. But it's here. So I thought that would be kind of cool on there. We'll see, because, you know, some of these other really small pieces would be awesome on there too. This purple piece is really pretty. Emma. What is Emma? You know who I'm talking about. The, her. Emma. You know who I'm talking about. And this is her. Dang it. My memory, I'll tell you. I have got thyroid brain like crazy. I can never think of what I'm doing. I thought this pin would be kind of cool. Emma, come on. Anyway, if I can't think of it, then I'm not going to worry about it. So, I don't know if I want to sew around this or not, though, is the thing. I mean, I definitely want to sew around these. But I don't know if I want to sew around the book. I don't think that I do. So I'm going to hang tight on putting the book on there. And Emma and whoever her friend is. So, but I'm going to continue kind of building up and adding to, because, you know, these are really big pieces here. And they need to have other colors on there. So, you know, that, now see, that would look great right there. Kind of like a, to tie all that intersection of paper together. That's going to be nice right there. So this has a lot of French writing and Paris stuff, which, you know, all that stuff is very popular. Paris is not really my deal. I would prefer that they have it in Spanish myself. We don't seem to have enough Spanish paper. So did I use this one already? No. So let's tear this one down. I did find a Hispanic lady on Etsy, and she has got gorgeous paper. So I'm going to be, I have purchased several of her kits, and I'll be making some things from her paper, because I love all the bright colors of, you know, Mexico and Spain. It's just so beautiful and romantic. I mean, some people, you know, think that Paris is romantic, and I mean, it is. But, you know, that Latin look is really appealing. Excuse me, appealing to me. And so I must have I must have some Latin blood in there someplace. Oops, I better put that right side up. I would love to go to Spain or Greece. Wouldn't Greece be awesome? I would love to go to Greece. Hang on a second. Okay. I had to blow my nose or I'd be sniffing. And that's very irritating. So here's another piece of that purple. No, that's the same. So might put this sincerely on there. Oh, wait. I forgot I want to put this on here. This type. You know, Pride and Prejudice, Emma. Goodness. You know. I can't think of anything. Oh, that's cool there. So we'll add that. Okay, well, if you hear something outside, something's going on out there, so we're just going to ignore it until it starts my dog's barking, of course, and then we'll hear that. Little knuckleheads. Oopsie. Where's that pin? Here's a pin. So now I need to remember that I only have 30 minutes, and we're at 21 minutes now. So, and here's something I've been wanting to show you. If you have a thin piece or a small piece of paper that you want to glue with your glue stick, just run it across like this. Now, where should I put this? How about I put this over here, like this? I may be sorry I've got all these little pieces on here, because when it comes time to sew around them, that's kind of nifty. And I'm going to put her on here. These are stamps that I have. The pin, the deer, the sincerely, and this piece. And got deer. And oh, sorry, lost my train of thought. So what I did was I stamped on, I got this paper, looks like this, and a big roll at Joann, and they had it all on sale. They had the little sacks and the rolled paper and all kinds of stuff, the tags, all kinds of things on the sale rack. Sometimes it's like they're going out of business and you're like, what's going on? I wonder if deer could go sideways. Yeah, it might look kind of weird, so we're gonna put it up here. So we're not going to overthink this, because it's not really going to matter once we start using it anyway. So I think that's about all. I don't know, this lady's kind of cool. Let's cut her out, or tear her out. Maybe put her up here. Oh, that's pretty. Yeah, I like that. Break up some of that big piece up here. She's pretty. And what else do we have here? Got some butterflies. This is kind of cute. I don't know where I put that bird, though. And if you tear it this way, Well, that's awfully pretty. I have to admit it. I really like that. So guess what? We're going to use it. And I might leave that part straight. No, I won't. I don't want it straight. So I'm going to use a tearing tool. We'll see. That's the theory. Trying to use a tearing tool on a little skinny piece like this is not always successful. Well, there we go. That worked out okay. I'm going to call that a victory. And are we good with that? Kind of covers her up, but you know, do we care? Guess not, because here we go. Put that on there. Oh, that little bird's cute. Cuter than daggone cute. I need something here, don't you think? What about that? Oh, I like that. I like this paper a lot. So, anyway, we are going to finish this up here shortly. And then once I get these sewn, then I'm going to make another video of our challenge for next week using this FrankenPaper. And again, you don't have to use FrankenPaper. You can use any paper you want. And it will be an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper that we will be using. So if you want to make your FrankenPaper 8.5 by 11, that would be great. We will be folding up one side, so you don't want it to be so thick that you can't fold the bottom up to make a pocket. So keep that in mind when you're making your FrankenPaper, if that's what you're planning to use for your challenge. So I'm going to tear this little part over here. So we don't have her covered up all the way. So I've got a lot going on this week. Well, for the next couple of weeks. My granddaughter is in the play, the Little Mermaid play at school. And so we're going to be going to that, several of the performances. And this weekend is my birthday weekend, and the next weekend is our anniversary weekend, and Little Mermaid. All this happens all at once. So we've got, you know, several activities that we're going to be doing, and so I want to get all these things recorded and ready so that I can have them for you guys. So I need a little piece of music paper. I'm really hankering for some music paper, but I don't have any here. I've got some really cool map, but nah, I don't want any map. So anyway, I'm going to put something else there. I don't have right here exactly what I'm looking for. And my time is getting short. So I am going to sign off and start working on the challenge. And then I'll see you in the next video. This is Deb signing off. Bye.